So, in spirit of the new Avatar movie coming out and possibly not sucking, I decided to make Zuko's dual broadswords from Avatar The Last Airbender. Okay, I lied, this was made back in summer for Fan Expo. I just got around to editing it. So the sword will be made out of hardened paper. To make hardened paper, you get paper, or in my case 110-pound cardstock, and glue one side and fold it over itself. To make two broadswords, I recommend making at least 25 sheets of hardened paper. Now I'm going to be making the base, which will be cut from the template and make our pieces. You're going to lay your hardened paper sheets in a brick pattern. I'll tell you what I mean in a few seconds. So I'm starting off by cutting out one of the sheets in half, and this will off-center the layout so it will have an even brick pattern. You're going to continue laying your template like this until it is the length of at least the template. I recommend making your template or your base at least 4 layers thick. That is 4 layers of hardened paper. Once your base is finished, set it under heavy books to dry. This will prevent warping. Now that your template is at least the length of the base, you can transfer the template onto the base. You can do this either by taping or gluing the template onto it and then cutting from the template, or you can use transfer paper and draw on top of the template on top of the base, and that will transfer the template onto the base. Since I've already created one of the pieces, I'm just going to trace around it, but any of those methods will work fine. Take your time with the curves and make multiple passes. Now that the main body part is done, I'm going to be making the beveled parts. You can see I highlighted the beveled parts in red marker. You're just going to cut that piece from the template. If you try hard enough, you can fit two of them onto one base. Now that the main pieces for the sword are done, I'm going to be making the guard. It is a round guard and you can find the template. I'm going to be using 1/2 centimeter or 5mm floor mat. I used a pin to find the center, and then I just used a compass that was the same radius to create the circle. This is of a single layer of hardened paper, and these will cover the foam part. I record the thickness of the piece, and I'm cutting out strips. These will go around the guard. Now gluing the bevel part onto the main part of the sword, just using some school glue. Make sure to align all the edges properly. I then record the thickness of the entire sword body, and that is how deep I will cut in the recess for the guard. I apply the paper covering on top of the guard using some contact adhesive. I also did the same with the strip that goes around the entire guard. I'm now paneling the sword using single sheets of 110-pound cardstock. Basically tracing around the flat areas, and then I'm going to create more area than there is on the blade near the paneled parts, like I do here. Really, you can make it larger than the blade itself because you can just trim it down after. They are also being applied with contact adhesive. When you panel, make sure the next piece overlaps the previous one. This will prevent the blade from twisting. Now I'm going to be working on the handle. The handle is made from 2 layers of 5mm foam glued onto itself. So it's basically 1 centimeter or 10mm thick. Then I'm just going to trace out the shape of the handle. I taped the 2 handles together using double-sided tape, and then I'm just going to sand a rounded shape using a belt sander. The reason why I decided to tape them together is to make sure that the shape is consistent for both sides. You don't need a belt sander. In fact, you can just cut the round shape to size using a knife or something, and then sand it using sandpaper.
Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you.
I'm now finding where the guard will be and cutting out the area from the handle. I'm then attaching the handle onto the blade using contact adhesive. I'm then I'm then going to attach the guard just using super glue. I'm then just filling in the small gaps using some super glue and baking soda. I'm now creating the pommel that will go on top of the handle. This is just being made from, I think, 2mm craft foam. Basically, it's gonna create a general shape of how the pommel will look, tracing from the handle, and then you're just gonna measure the width that it is and cut a strip from that width or longer. This is also being attached using contact adhesive. If you have any overhang, just trim it off. Here's how the blade looks with the guard and pommel and handle. Now I'm just going to paint it. I'm starting off with just a gray primer all over it. And then I did black over it so that the metallics can show up better. Then I masked off the areas that were not the handle and then painted the handle just a brown. I then masked off the blade and the handle and colored the guard and pommel a gold color. Then the guard and handle were masked off, and then I painted the blade a chromish color. As you can see, the chrome is rather shiny and very appealing. It looks really well, but then I decided to put a sealer on top of it, and that kind of messed with the color and stuff, so it came out metallic but not so much chrome. But I'd say the final product isn't that bad. So yeah, that's basically how you make Zuko's dual broadswords out of paper. If you like the video, you can support me by subscribing or leaving a comment and giving me feedback on improving my videos. So,